Yep, here we are again. Another damn loss. Another horrible performance. We were outclassed, outmatched, outcoached, and out-executed by the New Orleans Saints in all phases of the ball. It's been a very disappointing season, to say the least. Coming in, we had so many expectations with Bruce Arians and his coaching staff to at least be competitive in games and at least have a fight and not just look completely outmatched on the field. It hasn't worked that way. I don't know what it is. Did Bruce Arians and his coaching staff lose their magic, or did they misjudge the talent on our team? Are we really that bad of a team? It's so many questions and we have no answers. But before I really get into this reaction, make sure you click subscribe down below. I post weekly Buccaneer reaction videos. I'm Ramy B. I guess I should have started with that. But yeah, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more. But getting into this game, I will start with the defense as always. Our defense, they can't stop anything. One of the worst pass defenses I've seen in a while. Usually our running defense, our rush defense has been much better, but today they weren't that great. Kamara was running all over us. I don't think he reached 100 yards rushing, but I think he was averaging 6 yards a rush, which is double what we were allowing. I think we were allowing like 3.2 or something like that. When you give the Saints the opportunity to run the ball and you give them the field to run and get 6 yards a clip, then it really makes it difficult for us to contain them, because now we got to worry about the rush and the pass. And as you know, Drew Brees is one of the most accurate quarterbacks, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He's already earned that right. And what we got is a quick 20-point deficit in the first half. Not much to say there. I don't know why Jamel Dean wasn't playing as much. Bruce Arians said that Mike Edwards was in the slot because we were expecting to play more zone coverage, and Jamel is geared more towards man coverage. I don't know what the game plan was, so I mean, if that's what he says, then that's really, really disappointing in the coaching staff for not finding a way to put one of your better, or at least corners you have more hope in, on the field, especially after you released Hargraves. It's just not, that doesn't make sense. Arians is the head coach of the team and should be making the decisions and personnel decisions and telling the coordinators what to do if he feels that they're not doing something that he wants them to do. And he doesn't seem to be doing that. He seems to be in there to train the other coaches to become head coaches. He is the best play caller on the team. He's not calling plays. I honestly don't know what he's doing on the field, on the sideline during the games. Switching over to offense, another horrible performance by Jameis, 4 interceptions. I think he has 18 on the season now, I want to say, which ties his career highest, which was in 2016. So we have about 6 games left to play. So he might end up with 24 picks or more. First one obviously wasn't his fault. I mean, you hit Howard right in the hands, and then he does this weird behind the back thing and loses it. That's obviously not on Jameis. Very bad break, and give the Saints a quick score. Jameis does not look good. He didn't look sharp this game. And then, you know, one thing that's really puzzling is at the end of the game, his final 2 or 3 drives, he got hit low, an illegal low hit after he had thrown the ball. Obviously the refs didn't call it because the refs never call anything anymore in our favor. Hurt his ankle, and you could tell he was limping when after that pick 6, he was chasing the guy. You could tell he couldn't really run, he couldn't walk, he couldn't step into his throws, he couldn't set his feet. But yeah, we kept him in the game, and it resulted in another interception in the red zone, in the end zone actually, when he threw that pass to Mike Evans. Overall poor execution on offense on all phases. I think the absolute worst call was that 4th and 1 conversion we got, where Evans pushed the defender off literally while standing on the line of scrimmage within that 1 yard cushion that they give the corners and receivers to kind of maintain contact and all that. He challenged it. Of course, the NFL is not changing any pass interference calls from what they call it on the field, which is absolutely ludicrous considering that they put that there to fix these calls that are being miscalled or not being called at all, and they're still not getting it right. I think there's a league-wide concern about officiating. I don't think I've seen officiating that bad in my entire life of watching football. This season has been the worst, not just on the Bucs in general. I saw the highlight in the Ravens game where DeAndre Hopkins was trying to catch an end zone pass, and he literally got hugged from behind and interfered with before the ball got there, and they didn't call it. I don't know what it is with the officiating this year, if the officials are not being trained appropriately or what's going on, but there's no accountability on that end. One of the Saints' final drives to really put the game out of reach, we stopped them on 3rd down. They gave them a more generous spot, and then we stopped them on 4th down, and they gave them another generous spot. Is the league trying to make up for those bad calls against the Saints, like the one last year, and they're like, you know what, we'll give them a couple their way? It just doesn't make sense. I think the team, I mean, regardless, we should never be in a position where we have to rely on a call or two from the refs. We should be in a position where, you know, it's in our hands to win the game and potentially take the lead at the end of the game and win it. Evans didn't have his greatest game, but even then, he's at 993 yards. He needs to get 7 yards in the next 6 games to be the second player in history to have 1,000 receiving yards in his first 6 seasons, which would tie him with Randy Moss. So he's going to get that. I mean, barring an injury, 7 yards, that's 1 more catch, essentially. Chris Godwin played, he didn't play, but none of the receivers really played that well. It's good to see Scotty Miller finally got an opportunity. He caught that deep ball and was literally brought down like at the 1. Godwin played pretty well. That catch and run touchdown he had was amazing. Good hustle by him. Our offensive line is absolutely atrocious. Jameis, I read, got hit 12 times. Not pressured 12 times, got hit 12 times. I don't even recall a play where he got back and had more than 3 seconds to throw the ball. It seemed like every time he got back to the end of his drop, Cameron Jordan was in his face. And I think it's come to the conclusion that Cameron Jordan owns the Bucs. There's no way that we have been. I haven't seen us stopping him in years since he's been on the Saints. The O-line needs to be rebuilt from the bottom up. I know we can invest so much in a new quarterback and hope that that'll make a difference, but again, if the quarterback doesn't have time to set his feet and survey the field and throw the ball, if the running backs don't have any holes to go through and we're just being completely outclassed and out-dominated by the opposing team's defensive line, we're never going to have a successful football team. We have a lot of holes on the offensive side. Yeah, we have a lot of offensive weapons, but if we can't get our quarterback to set his feet without having 3 defenders in his face, 3 pass rushers like barreling down on him, we're never going to see anything near a successful football team. It's hard to have a quarterback that can't literally take more than a second to survey the field, and at some point it's either I'm going to get sacked and hit every single play and I'm going to go down and we're going to keep losing yardage, or I'm just going to start airing it out. And I feel that's what James has been doing. Like, I'm going to keep getting hit, so at some point I got to air it out. We're going to win some of them, I'm going to throw some picks, but if I just play it safe every time when the defense is running full speed at me, then we're never going to gain a yard. I don't know. The coaching staff didn't really do much to put in extra blockers. I remember under Dirk's regime, especially in 2016, he would put full max protection. He'd have 2 tight ends, and we'd literally have like 7 people on the line, it seemed like, every time, and we'd only have 2 receivers going out. And I know Arians' offense doesn't really favor that. They prefer to have multiple receiving options on the field. And I know when he was in Arizona, Carson Palmer also used to get hit a very high amount of times. I don't think his offense is really favor blocking as much. When he was coaching for the Colts, Andrew Luck was getting beat up. Overall, it starts with the coaching. I think it starts up top. Yes, I would say they are good coaching and teaching. We've seen better talent or improved talent from a lot of our players. I would say Mike Evans is having arguably his best season. Chris Godwin absolutely is. On defense, you can see the front 7, D-line and linebackers are playing incredible. But I think when it comes to the judgment of the O-line and the judgment of talent that we have, they definitely missed the mark on that. Yeah, overall, we're just a bad team. We're just a really, really bad team. No hope for the rest of the season. Don't know what they're going to do going forward with quarterback or not. I don't think a quarterback fixes the situation. I think it starts up front with the O-line and having a better running back. You saw in 2016 in Jameis's best season, you gave him a somewhat decent O-line and you gave him a top 10 rushing attack with Doug Martin, and he played some of his best football. But when you're asking him to throw 50 times, and then on the other end, we only rush 8 times with 2 of them coming on that final goal line drive to Dare. So really 6 all game. Like, how do you expect to win when the other team knows you're just going to keep throwing and you have a quarterback who makes risky decisions? You're going to get a lot of picks. We keep saying we don't want to put Jameis in position to throw a lot of picks, but yet we're throwing the ball 50 times and we're not rushing at all. Even when we were down 20-0 in the first half, like, you can still try to incorporate the rush a little bit, make them at least respect the rush. The game isn't over 20-0. I mean, we were up 21 against the Rams and they made a comeback real quick and it was a close game. So yeah, I think it starts up top, but we're a bad football team. We misjudged this season, and yeah, I think it's over for us this season. The Falcons won. They're tied with us. I don't know where it is with the tiebreakers and stuff, but we play them next week, and at this point, do we really think we can beat them? They've played amazingly solid football this week against the Panthers and last week against the Saints. So yeah, I think that's about it for my reaction to the game. Make sure you click the subscribe button down below and smash that like button. Comment, please, what is the number 1 thing that you think we need to see improved? Secondary, O-line, or quarterback? Or improved or changed or whatever. But yeah, I am Ramy B. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, I am out.
Our offense tough, our defense rough. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Ain't no other team stopping us. Go Bucs, go Bucs.